Today, I am going to do a short warm-up using all of these many mouthpieces behind me here. I've done it before on stream, but never with the Embosure, Tom Hooten's new product, or as I like to call it, the Hootenout, which is his name plus cutout. And that's what I called it before it had a name, and so I can't stop it. But I want to show you that warm up a little bit and tell you about what I'm doing. But I want it to be short because I have a ton of music and we're going to try some cool new stuff like this. I should be able to, hopefully you are seeing me here instead of here, and I can flip that so I can go over here if I want to. But we're going to try out some new scene stuff. I hope that's how OBS works. I don't know. Anyway, I have about an hour to do everything, and hopefully it'll be a little shorter, but if you are watching this live, then ask me some questions. And if you're not watching this live, I know I don't really advertise when they're going to come up all the time. I think it says sometime like 3:45, but that's never the time because I'm always doing other stuff. So if you want to ask me questions, you can type them in the comments. You can email me. You can go to my beacons.ai page, which is beacons.ai/tptprof, trumpet prof. And there's a lot of ways to contact me there. And I would love to do a program for you. I've learned recently that there's a couple of groups of after-school band kids that get together and watch these videos. So if you are those kids, hi. And I want to interact with you. So please let me know what you want to know about. And I'll see if I can either show it to you or learn it so that I can show it to you anyway. But that's not what we're doing today. We're going to warm up. You can tell it's spring break. I'm in my old Interlaken sweatshirt. This is I got this, I think, right after the 9/11, that's where I was during that. Not to bring the mood down, but they gave us these shirts, I think, as a response to that, to sort of promote world togetherness. And this is what it says on the back of Kresge. So it's actually quite an old sweatshirt, and I can't believe I still have it. But all right, on to warming up. So I like to warm up. I am going to do my journal, which is right here, and I am going to use a timer, and we're going to use some drones. Everybody's used to have one of these, a metronome/tuner, or at least two things, and one or both of them would make a noise for you. And so I want to show you how I do that. It's good for your relative pitch, for your ear, to use a sound that's not the sound you are going to copy. So in other words, like one of the sounds is an A, but I'm doing a C scale. Okay, so let's do that together. And let's see. So it's going to be very drony, but I'm going to leave this microphone on and just maybe turn it down very slightly so you can hear what's going on. And I'm going to play a C to C scale. This is just, basically, I want to use what the Hootenout does for us, right? I want to use that, which is, it's got this little thing in the middle, right? A little tiny tube that you can blow through that has some play with it. And you put that in your aperture and tighten down, not too hard, and roll in a little bit. The other side is a peat, what we used to call a peat. And you can get some awareness from that. So I'll start with that. And I should turn my timer on because I'm actually starting now. And then I might So I'm just trying to get awareness, and you should watch Tom's videos for like how to use this properly. I sort of guessed at it for about a year. I was one of the beta testers that sort of helped troubleshoot it, and man, it was amazing. Well, if you've watched my channel at all, you know that because I kept referring to it as like a secret that I can't tell you yet, and that was all that time. It was this. So, yeah, I sort of had to figure it out. So I use it maybe a little bit wrong, but I try to watch the videos. I try to watch one a week so that I'm not overloading myself and trying to do too much in my head. But watch those videos. So I need that awareness, right? Then I'm going to jump straight to tuba, and I'm going to turn on the drone, and we're going to play C to C. I'll turn this down a little bit. There, it matches. And that's all there is to it, right? And I leave the drone on and move on to the next one. This is a trombone mouthpiece. And you might notice it's not super stable, and that's okay. I don't need it to be super stable. I'm getting aperture, I'm getting aperture awareness and making sure that I know exactly how that's going to vibrate. The Hootenout helps you place the aperture, also keep it supple, but also keep it rolled in enough, which is kind of a complex scenario for your muscles, but it's not hard to do if you have the device. And then you want to put your tongue position just behind that so it's really guiding the air into this vortex right at the point where the vibration is going to happen, the aperture. So even when I'm super unstable, a lot of that is dentition stuff again. I did get really super lucky, as you may have seen last stream, and we got some stuff that worked, and that rehearsal actually went pretty well. I need to look at that stuff too today, but I'm not going to have time in an hour. So we just keep doing these mouthpieces, and I'm trying to, I can do it in between if I want. I can just grab the Hootenout and, you know, try to like get that sensation back. But most of the time, it's more helpful for me to kind of dial it in over time. Just, I want the brightest, fastest buzz possible, if that makes sense. So let's keep going. So sorry, that was a bass trumpet mouthpiece. Now this is a different kind of bass trumpet mouthpiece. Yeah. I can also do this on a trumpet. So we have to play alto today, so I'm going to try this on the alto trumpet. It's going to be worse though. And for that we don't need a pitch. That's too low. I knew it. Sometimes when I get that like car won't start sound, it's I'm refusing to just drop my jaw and open up and get the note, because that's not as efficient as I want to be. And this is a good point that I try to make a lot on this channel, and that is that it's okay to make sounds that are not pretty in an effort to make sounds that are easier, better, that are prettier later, right? I know that sounds weird to say it that way, and it maybe it's the worst possible way for me to say it, but the basic concept being that, like, I have a design, I have goals. If my goal is only to sound as good as I can every day, hey, that's okay. That's a nice goal, but it doesn't guarantee that I will ever improve, right? I mean, there is no guarantee, but it doesn't really motivate me to improve. It motivates me to sound essentially the same as I did yesterday, and make sure that that is as good as it can be. And that can be really frustrating if you, let's say, have a really hard day, and then the next day you're not able to sound as good. Well, now you're getting worse, and now what are you supposed to do about it? But if you instead have some physical goals, you have some production goals, you always want to get to making good sounds, but it doesn't have to be every sound is good. There is a school of thought out there that you should always only make beautiful sounds on the trumpet or whatever instrument you play. And I mean, I understand the methodology behind, like, you don't want to spend a lot of time making bad sounds, right? But if you are willing to make some bad sounds, you can make progress in a way that you really wouldn't be able to if you only insisted on the only great sounds, right? And you could maybe fold it into itself a little bit if you wanted to say, it's a great sound when I sound bad in an effort to sound good later, right? To make some progress. So that's a way to think about it. I think that's helpful. Anyway, now we get the real embouchure, the Hootenout, and we're going to do the same thing with it. And then we're going to move on to some alarm clock tones, and then we're going to get right into the music. So here we go again. Turn this back on. Pedal C is super hard for me on the even the 1.5 C rim for this, but okay. So I see there's one person on. Please ask me questions if you want. But that was 9 minutes, including my talking, of mouthpiece stuff. So we need to take a short break. Let me find a pencil. You'd think I'd have a million pencils, and I do, but not available right now. Let's see. So that was mouthpieces, and it was 9 minutes. That's all we need to write down, because I know what that means. When you're doing a journal, it's helpful to do a journal that you'll actually do, right? In other words, if you try to do my journal template that I put on my Instagram some months ago, it might be overwhelming. There's high range on there. It implies that you should do high range scales, sight reading, transposition, excerpts, lesson materials, and record yourself as well as other practice every single day, in addition to a warm-up, which it has the most space for. So it has this big giant space for warming up that implies you should use it. And then it also has columns for comments. And so, like, that can feel like a lot to do when you're just trying to practice, right? So start small. Start with something like, what did you do? Right? At the end of your practice, write down what you did. That's easy. You're already done practicing. You're not like, worried about anything. You're not distracted by trying to journal. And it can be, different personality types and different sort of cognitive predispositions, right? Some people don't want to be distracted by something else while they're trying to do it. They can't do that. And that's fine. For those people, I would recommend pre-planning, right? What do you want to do? And then you can follow that plan, and instead of it being a distraction, you're sort of matching up, am I on track with what I wanted to do? And then if you're not, well, it takes a quick second to write down, I took twice as long on this because it wasn't working, or whatever, right? But it's not nearly as distracting. a lot of some of my students just want to write like a paragraph about how their practice session went at the end, and I think that that's a really interesting way to do it. I would never want to do that. That's like a lot, and that feels more like a journal to me, like a diary, I should say. And I already keep one of those, and I tend to get really personal in there. And I want to keep my trumpet playing not impersonal, but I don't want to get too much in the feels about it, right? I just want to kind of like write down what I did and what happened and how I think it's going in a general sense, and what I want to do to fix things in the future, right? So anyway, all right. Now that's not a super intense mouthpiece exercise, but I want to do a little more of it, and maybe I won't do all of them, but I want to sort of show you, like, what's hard is that the Hootenout gets me in a position that I can't quite use it exactly one-to-one on the trumpet. And I don't think that that is a fault of the device. I think that it is a fault of my own dentition, that in order to use it the way that I want to in using the device, the intersection of the rim and the teeth is different. And I don't know how else to tell you about it. But I think that that might be something to consider. That again, it's a device that gives you awareness, and then you use that to play the trumpet. Use the awareness, not the exact positioning always. And for some people, I think it is one-to-one. But it's more about like, how are you capable of making these sounds, and then okay, how does that work on the trumpet? So, but I like to do a different exercise. Well, I said this would be fast. I was going to do some scales, but let's do some. Let's see. B-flat trumpet, and I want to apply this Hootenout, right? You guys practice with one hand. It gets a little slimy though, and I want to apply that to the trumpet as close as I can. And I did this the other day. I like really walked it in, and that's when I was sort of discovering like it's not exactly the same. I need to make adjustments. And so I'm not going to try to walk it in as hard now. Instead, I'm just going to say, all right, what was that? Does that feel okay? How does that change how I want to play? And now let me make that work on here. And I'm just going to do 1,000 alarm clock tones and sort of move them around. I call these alarm clock tones because they sound like an alarm clock going off. If you grew up in the 80s and know what a beep, beep, beep kind of alarm clock sounds like. But, okay, so we're going to try it out. And it's just breathing and blowing. And I want to learn exactly where that reflection is going to give me back the response, and whether my embouchure is in the right position to take advantage of that. And if it's more efficient than normal. So I tend to have to recalibrate my tongue position for this new embouchure setup, but I still want to find that reflection eventually. And I could do lead pipe buzzing, but we've done that before. So this is a quicker sort of fast-tracked version. And that was 5 minutes, so I'm going to write that down first, because you want to write down your rests as well. And okay, here we go. Turn on my tuner so that I can see, I can feel that I feel sharp, but sometimes if you don't have perfect pitch, your ear can deceive you. All right, so I know it's a boring exercise to listen to, but it's really quite important for me to just get air into sound, air into sound. And you notice if you're listening carefully, there's a lot of sort of shakiness to a lot of my the holds, right? The after the response, and that is important. I don't want that shakiness, but I do need to figure out how to control it without just forcing it. A lot of people will use their muscles to control shakiness, and usually it's the muscles that are causing it. Now, that's not always the case. In my case there, it was a relative jaw position, right? My jaw tended to be a little too open for what I was set up to do, and so I would get kind of like a because my lips were trying to hold on in that smaller aperture position, and there wasn't dentition behind it to back it up because I opened my jaw too far. And so I closed my jaw a little bit and I opened up my tongue position and it fixed it right away. And then I just have to remember to do that. Now, this is a new thing because my new dentition is messing that up for me. And that's a good reason not to mess with your teeth for any reason, because it's weird stuff like that that it can take months to try to figure that out, and you might not even ever do it. It might just be like, I guess I have a shaky tone now. And it depends on what's going on. So don't let your dentist mess with your teeth too much, especially cosmetically. If it's not a physical issue that's going to cause you, bodily harm or make it hard for you to eat food or something, then don't change it, because whatever it is, it's working. If it's working, and if it's not working, well, there's no guarantee that fixing it will make it work better. So it's much safer to get a new mouthpiece than it is to get new teeth. But anyway, so I'm dealing with that because my dentition has shifted. And so I want to find where the striking point, and that's something anybody can do, right? I can just try over and over again, and I don't even know what I'm changing little by little, but I'm kind of walking my way into it. Oh, that was also about 4 minutes, I guess. I probably did 3, but ACTs, I call those. So now, what are we going to actually look at today? Because I want to get into it, and let's shift to scene number 2. Hello, and this is a gig that I have coming up at the end of the month, so in about 20 days. Normally I wouldn't look this far ahead, but the problem is it's a lot of material. So I've got all of these, this is for a Queen show. Look at all of this music. Right? That's a ton of stuff. And so I got to look at all of it to make sure there's nothing crazy in there. And we want to write down what mutes we're going to use. We want to make sure that we're capable of playing everything, right? I'll put this down here for now. And normally I'd probably play this show on a B-flat trumpet and on a shallow mouthpiece, but we need to find that out as well. What's the best equipment for this music? So let's take a look at it together. I don't see anything crazy, but let me just talk through it. I won't be able to see you or myself during this, but okay, so if I look at the very top, One Vision, right? Okay, get my metronome out, 120. Probably a lot of the show is going to be around 100 to 140, because those are good rock tempos. So okay, here we go, medium tempo rock, right? And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to work out all the rhythms and what the sounds are, right? And if there's anything weird, now I'm not going to print all this. Normally I'd print it and make a lot of markings in it, make sure I get everything, and I might do that if there's a really tricky passage. I might just print that one page and bring it with me, but the books are going to be on the stand, and sometimes they even have changed things, so I don't want to be playing off of my own music that isn't actually the music they want us to play. So but you also don't want to show up and sight read unless you have to. And that does happen from time to time, but if you can avoid it, you want to avoid it, and that's what we're doing here. So we're looking at this. I'm just going to, I mean, easy stuff, right? Let's see. Dot, 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 da, bop, 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 ba, ba, da, dot, 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 dot. Easy. Now, I forgot to mention I'm playing second trumpet on this, so I need to be prepared to play this on a C trumpet if my principal trumpet player wants me to. I also need to be prepared to play, he likes to play piccolo trumpet if it's really super high, which is a great idea. And so I need to be prepared to not necessarily play piccolo trumpet also, although I will bring one just in case he wants me to, but to be able to change to match that sound, that section sound together. So let's keep looking. I am not going to play a note of this until well, first of all, unless absolutely necessary, but I want to look at all the notes, right? This is the same passage as before. I know you can't see my, my cursor, but from B down to C, right? Same exact notes, almost, as same rhythms for sure. So we're done with that. That's good. Keep going. Right? It's just, you know, just getting used to this, like, bup, 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 ba ba da off bop bop boo bump ba 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 da. Same stuff, but we need to get in the groove. And you hear me doing some tongue stops and lengths of notes. I have to be prepared to change that on the fly as well. But I'm pretty sure that's how this is generally going to go. And the thing I can't do on live stream, because it'll get flagged and demonetized and whatever else, is I can't listen to these tracks, right? I'm just going to go listen to them and make sure that I know the right styles, right? But in general, you know, you can figure it out just by looking at it, right? And where the, like, D dot, right? Bop, 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 bop. Oh yeah, this guy helps me out, right? He's got the arrows. Bop, dot, 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 dot. Easy. And they're all going to be in bad trumpet keys because they're in guitar keys. In this case, right, the key of D concert. And that makes sense because, well, that's one of the open strings. For strings and for guitar, I believe. Although don't quote me on that. So yeah, so then we got a nice grand finale. Bop, bop, boo da 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 da. Oh, it's too big of a sharp. Da 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 da. Simple. Okay, keep going. Well, we get some snaps, and this was a little faster, so. But look, long notes, right? Key of B major for us now, A concert. Okay, now we got a lick. Da 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 da. Yep. Da 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 da. This is all I'm going to do all day, right? And if it's really tricky, I might try to play it. Let's try to play that one. Why not? I'll just play a normal mouthpiece for now because I've got it right here. And these aren't too stupid high. Now when I actually play them, I want to get them exactly right, so I'm going to play slowly, right? I'm not going to go faster. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, yeah. That was from a couple of minutes ago. That's what my former student said in the chat. Okay, let's try to play this. Okay, I'll turn off my tuner, mute this. A sharp. So I missed that A sharp. Make sure I don't do that. I might play all of this on C trumpet. It'll certainly be a lot easier. Let's try it. And if you're not very good at transposing, this is a reason to get good at it. Because as long as your other trumpet players don't mind what trumpet you play, and the B flat and C should almost sound exactly the same anyway, as long as you're using a big mouthpiece. They get wildly different with a shallow mouthpiece. But you know, it can pick up another trumpet and be like, now this will be a lot easier for me, right? This will be in the key of A instead of the key of B. Got a little tight at the top there. I didn't warm up my high range, so no, yeah, of course. But that's why I'm not playing a lot right now. I'm just kind of trying to look at the spots and make sure that I've got a little bit under my fingers. So let's pretend that I'm not allowed to play C trumpet, because that's certainly harder. I can play it on C, obviously, and it'll be easier for me. So let's do the harder of the two things. And I guess I should move my mics. Hold on. There we go. So let's keep looking at it. Oops, sorry. But okay, I mean, that's good enough for now. I'll play along with the records. There's another one. Same lick, right? So we're going to play it a lot. So I'm not going to worry about it again. Now we've got, somebody put fingerings in. Thank you, I guess. I hate looking at fingerings in parts, but if you got to do it, you got to do it. This is a part that was scanned to me, so I don't know who was last on the part. I don't know who plays this, but it's just chromatic, except for the first two notes. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to look at. And that's the top part. I shouldn't be playing that. Same thing, except the whole step's in a different spot. Okay, easy. Moving on. Mutes in. Okay, so we need a straight mute. Let's write that down. 4 queen mutes. Straight. Probably a loud straight. Okay, we're not going to look at any of that. I don't know what tempo we're at. Okay, so swung 16th, swung 8th, and at 1/16. So 1/16 should be easy to find. Ba, ba, ba. And then look at that last note right there. At mutes in is long. So because it's not an 8th note, right? Bop, 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 beep. Ba, boom, doo da, boo da. And again, I have to play second trumpet. I keep trying to play first. Bo da. Let's see. Da, do, da, do, da. It's so hard to play like swung short second notes. Da 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 da. But that's why we practice. Okay, nothing really difficult there. Da 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 ba Buddha Buddha. Easy. Okay, Radio Gaga. Here we go. Mutes. Wah wah wah. Okay, so I'm going to bring. Now, when that's written, you don't always know what the hell they mean by that. So I'm going to bring a harmon with stem, and I'm going to bring a plunger. And if we're being honest, I'll probably bring every mute that I own, at least one of every mute that I own, and probably 2 of straight mutes and harmons and things like that. This looks like a harmon mute if I had to guess, but you never know. So, okay, so wah-wahs. How fast is this? Medium pop, techno pop at 112. Okay, whatever that means. Now, here's some tricky somethings, right? This looks bad to look at, but once you know what it sounds like, right? Ba, 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 da. It's easy. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba, da, 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 da. Right? Oh, breath mark there. Ba, da, 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 ba, 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 da. Okay, so that's all we need to know. We don't change notes very much. Ba, 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 da. Same lick. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba, da, 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 da. Okay. Same lick, same lick. Now this is very common that it goes this way, right? It's everybody who's ever played a rock band gig, you know, you suddenly you're like, oh wow, this is a lot easier than I thought it was. Now that doesn't mean the physical trumpet playing is easy, but it means that once you know the rhythms, they tend to stay the same for that tune, and even sometimes for that genre, that band, that overarching sort of theme. So that's one. Let's see what happens when I close that window. Nothing. Interesting. Okay, well, we're going to open up part 2. And we're going to see if I can get OBS to do that. Yes, I can. Okay, here we go. And I guess I should start. I can play through these a little bit too instead. But like I said, it's not really all that helpful. Here's 140. I told you it's going to be up to about 140. Do that, that, do that, that. Yeah. Okay, I'll play some of it. Why not? Let's see. If I sit down, can you still see me? Kinda. How about I pull you down with me? Aha. Okay, got it. I couldn't remember if it said swing at the top of the chart. That's the kind of thing where if your ears are open, you're going to get the style. Yeah, swing, swing. I know this tune, actually. Crazy Little Thing Called Love. It's not really that swung. So yeah, and it's the same till the end. And on. Slow notes. Look at, there's a lot of markings in here that make me suspicious that, you know, I mean, somebody could have just not been a very good reader, but ba, 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 right? It makes it harder to look at when you mark it over like that. Hopefully the book is not, but I'm sure it will be. Yeah, nothing really to, okay, now here we go. Now we got something. Mutes in. I want to break free 109. Pop rock, so we're going to, now see this, probably shallow mouthpiece is necessary as well as more comfortable anyway. Okay, we'll try this one. I haven't tried this setup with that kind of mouthpiece yet. Okay, so 109, let's get that tempo. Oh yeah, okay. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. Yeah, if you can't hear it before you actually try to play it, you're not going to have a good time trying to play it. It's just not going to be great. Oh, I did not find my former student also asked if I found the Mahler 2 parts. I did not, but I have one of your, well, actually we're never to hear together, but one of your potentially former colleagues at ECU here, who said he was going to he was maybe going to spend some time organizing the library entirely over the break. So I was like, if you want to do that, that would be awesome. I'm not going to spend my break doing that. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So no, I don't have the Mahler parts, but maybe he found them, question mark. I don't think they're in there. I think I have Northwestern Mahler 2 parts, which is not really, I mean, Chikowitz might have marked some stuff on there, but it's not like the CSO parts or anything, right? So, all right, let's try this. And actually, let me just play a few notes on this, and then, and back to this, like, if I can't hear it, I'm not going to play it very well. Da 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 da. Oh, it's bad. Not enough fingerings in that lick. All right, let's try it out. Let's see. So it's pretty brutal, I'd say. My new dentition doesn't really lend itself as well to this super shallow setup, this is why another thing we need to learn. Now I think I could control it, but maybe I need a slightly different setup, and I don't think the 6A4A is going to do it either. So what else we got? I've got this Park Henley, which I usually like a lot. So as you can see, I'm not going to, belabor the point. I need to practice this part, and I'm not going to forget that now, right? I'm going to sit down. I'm going to use this as part of my, not warm-up, but when I get to the end, when I'm actually doing my high range, when I get to the end of it, I will maybe try to play through this passage so that I'm really strong on it. Because it says mutes in solely, but I'm not even ready to play it, right? I can't play it, certainly not with a mute, and with another person, right? So, yeah, I want to get some things working first, and the better I know this part, the better I'm going to be at playing it. So let's look through the rest of this packet. These are in like 5 different packets. Oh, I know Under Pressure for sure. I can play eighth notes, so no problem. Da, 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 da. Okay, fine. And that's the end of this packet. All right, cool. So let me bring you back to here. So that's the end of this stream, I think. I just wanted to show you a little bit of like, you got to sing through things, you got to hear them, and then you can deal with the physical things. And it might not behoove you to just play through things over and over again right now. It might be a better idea to like just look through all of the materials and then practice. Oh, I did say that I was going to play some alto trumpet, and we better do that because it would not be fair if I didn't play alto trumpet, but I put it in the description. I have a friend of mine has a horn recital coming up, and she wanted me to play this Gold Coast Harmony piece by Erica Waisden. And I thought, well, I don't know if I can do, I certainly can't play horn. And I'm playing first horn on this. But I do play alto trumpet sometimes, as you already heard. And we need to pick a mouthpiece. Basically, that's what we're after. Is I want to pick a mouthpiece that I think I can play. So we're going to start with the bass trumpet mouthpiece. We're going to see if we can get this in tune. And, I've already, okay. And we're going to see if we can actually play some of these licks. Again, all technical. I don't have it on the computer for you, but here we go. So this might not be the best. If I practice it, I have to find something that might work. And I think that this particular live stream has been maybe one of the more like, well, I don't know, Gabriel, you don't sound too good today. And like I mentioned in the middle, that's okay. I'm not here to say that every day needs to be the best trumpet playing you've ever done. I'm here to say that you need to work on the things that you're bad at, and maybe all of them at once sometimes, right? And I don't want to make excuses either. I really need to work on this stuff, and I haven't been doing my, I've been doing my fundamentals because I'm worried about how the teeth shape is working out, but I haven't been addressing any of this stuff. I haven't played in the high register, I haven't played in a shallow mouthpiece, I haven't played alto trumpet in probably 3 weeks. So I've played piccolo trumpet, that's about as close as I got, and that went pretty well, so I thought I could get away with it, but clearly I'm not, and I'm gonna need to do this more, right? So let's try this mouth. This is the 10.5 CW that somebody like scraped out. Sorry about that. This chair grabs this microphone and pulls it right off. So you can hear, for me, the G sharp at the top of the staff sucks. That's what I can't quite get figured out. And that's okay, I'll figure that out. I need to figure that, but this mouthpiece sounds way better, right? And it sounds more like a horn, which I think is what we're going for. There's one more that we can try. And, you know, a flugelhorn mouthpiece actually with an adapter might not be a bad idea here too. I do have a flugelhorn mouthpiece in my flugelhorn, but it will not have an adapter because that's definitely at school. However, if I put a little piece of paper in there, if you don't already know this trick, all you have to do, oh, sorry, I was way off camera. All you have to do is put a piece of paper so that it kind of grabs. It's going to be off center, but you know, So flugelhorn mouthpiece, who cares? Grab a little piece of paper, okay? And you don't need this much, you need about that much, like the same size as the width, the diameter of the shank, right? And you're just going to put it and sort of make sure that it gets like conformed to the side there. And it is going to get wet, and it is going to be, I mean, it's wet paper. So you really got to be careful you don't just blow it into your horn when you take this off. But usually one piece of paper can kind of snag it. No, we're going to need two. So what you can do in that case is just start turning it sideways so that it wraps around at a different angle, so you get more paper on the surface of when it gets in there. Yeah, that's almost it. All of it? Nope, we need it longer. So I was wrong. We need twice as much paper probably. Oops, I lost it. Did it stay in the horn? It did. See, this is what I was talking about. Uh-oh. Close one. Okay. So, twice as much, fine. You grab your mouthpiece again, wrap this guy around, and the piece that we tore, wrap that around the area where there isn't any paper right now, so that it's as even as it can be. I mean, we're not going to get it perfect, and we're just trying this out. I'll use a real coupled flugelhorn to trumpet adapter that I own. Although, I'll tell you what, tape sometimes works better than those. It shouldn't, but it really does sometimes. Okay, that's going to be as close as we need to get to try it out. Oh, and it feels terrible because it's so small. No, see, it's terrible. It's the rim is too small to be picking off these low B's and low C's, like low E concert, low F concerts. So I think this is the answer. I just have to be able to make it through a whole piece on this accurately and be able to play those G sharps, right? But everything else is coming out fine. Oh, I got to play a high B. Let's see if we can get that. Yeah, so I'm going to have to work on my high range on the alto trumpet, which is weird. You'd think that would be the easiest part, but it's hard to get the right mouthpiece. A longer mouthpiece might sort of work better, like in other words, a deeper cup that's like, but way deeper than we ever make them, so they have more cup volume, but not more lip area. But sometimes that backfires. So I think we have a good set of choices, and I will keep. Like, normally the bass trumpet mouthpiece, the standard one, works the best for me on this instrument, but I just, with things behind the lips changing, I'm not really sure where the intersections of the rim to the teeth are always going to be. And if I'm going to be consistent on this, I need to make a choice and then stick with that choice unless something dramatic happens. So I think we've made a good effort towards all of our goals today. We read some new music that we need to look at for about a month from now. We got through about 2/5 of it, I think. We read some alto trumpet stuff. We did a short warm-up that built the embouchure we want to build, but we're not overplaying now. And we learned that we need to address shallow mouthpiece, high-range stuff, which I really just haven't done. I think maybe even longer than that, like in months, because I've just been working on fundamentals. And that doesn't occur to me as a fundamental, but now that I heard myself play it, I need to address it at least once a week until the gig. So anyway, I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week.